is Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Bregman. Today we're going to be launching a new video series via the Jewish Executive Learning Network called Power Hitters. What's Power Hitters? We're not playing baseball today. Power Hitters is my new video series where I'm going to be interviewing a lot of celebrities, very successful business people, and entrepreneurs, and I'm going to try to mine them for nuggets of wisdom, advice, practical tips that can help you in your quest for success. And today's special guest on the Power Hitters video series is Michael Bunick. He is in his early 30s. He's very eligible, wonderful, super special Jewish young man who keeps the mitzvot. And he's actually a job that's not a Jewish doctor or lawyer. He's actually an action movie director and producer. And I'm now in South Florida. I have the privilege of meeting him. So, Michael, thank you so much. Welcome to the Power Hitters video series. It's an honor to have you. Thank you for being accessible, subscribing to the channel, connecting with me. And next thing you know, two Jews, we're buddies and then have a lot in common. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Yeah, it's an honor. So why don't you tell me and our viewing audience, who are you? Tell us about yourself.
Well, like you said, my name is Michael Bunick. I'm from Paris. I was born and raised there until I was 18, and then I moved to Miami in 2002 in the land of opportunity.
Yeah, Miami's a land of opportunity, or the United States as a whole?
But Miami is like the nice area.
The best of the best of the best.
Exactly.
I'm with you. I'm from Boca Raton. So, well, we're glad to have you here in the U.S. You're an action movie producer. How did you get started in that? How did you think about doing that? Most of us, as nice Jews growing up, I don't know if Paris is a little different, maybe yes, maybe no, you know, that you're supposed to be a doctor, a lawyer, maybe a businessman or accountant.
Yeah.
Some people always knew what they wanted to be, what they would do professionally when they would grow up. Other people never know. They go to college, they go to graduate school, and then they maybe, if they're lucky, later they decide. Other people know, since I'm 5 years old, I wanted to play in the New York Yankees, and now I'm a New York Yankee. What about you? Did you always know you wanted to make and direct, produce action movies? Like, when did that come into your life?
Well, I always had a huge passion for movies, especially action movies, since I was a kid.
It's Jake Brewster. He stole Unit 5's truck.
But it was never an option because of my parents, you know. It was always like clear, no, this industry is not for you as a Jew, you know.
Yeah, they said the industry was not open to a nice Jewish religious boy from France or something?
Yeah, exactly. So it was pretty much out of the question.
So what did they want you to do instead?
Well, you know, like they want you to be good in school and everything. School was not so much for me. Or maybe I was not so much for school. And,
either school wasn't for you or you weren't for school. Yeah. But there was a problem here.
You know, like I was always trying to like basically entertain people in school. So
were you like a clown, like an entertainer, a joker?
Either jokes or whatever it is to have fun. So maybe school was not exactly where I was supposed to be to entertain people. Maybe now I'm in the right path.
Yeah, a little bit more so than in calculus. I'm with you.
Exactly. So it was never an option for me. It's only later on that I discovered that maybe I can make it into this industry.
Wow. So let me ask you then this question. From YouTube and Facebook, a lot of people knew I was meeting you today, and one of the questions a lot of people want to know is, oh, he's involved in Hollywood and films, and that. Ask him who are the nicest, coolest, friendliest, most down-to-earth, famous people that he's met before. Sometimes we'll meet people that are known or famous or prominent and they're not very welcoming and friendly, and others are so down to earth, and that is very impressive when you get to be around them and they don't have that persona. So like, who are some of the nicer people that you were able to meet?
Well, I'm not going to talk about the ones that were not nice.
Right, because we don't want Lashon Hara.
Exactly.
Right? No Lashon Hara.
Yeah, there was like one that was really surprised because it was like a big deal, you know. Was Bruce Willis. It was really nice, and he was asking about me and everything in a nice way. So there's him. There's
Bruce Willis. That's an action movie guy. Die Hard.
Die Hard. There you go. You can get any.
You can't get any better than that. Action movie man. Him. You're
exactly.
Good.
Then there was Michael Jackson in 2003. I met him. He was really nice.
Yeah.
And I'm good friends with Michael Bay. He's the director and producer of Transformers. Like Pearl Harbor, Bad Boys, Armageddon, that. It's fine, which is good for him. Yeah. Then there's Mark Wahlberg and Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Right.
There was Jamie Foxx. I was with him in a recording studio once. He offered me pizza, non-kosher pizza.
Jamie Foxx offered you non-kosher pizza. Okay.
Yeah, with the pepperoni and all.
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So,
Pepperoni's two problems, right? Pepperoni pizza. It's pepperoni's not, that wouldn't be kosher, and the meat and milk. So I'm glad we got that covered. Did you tell him why you didn't want your pizza?
No, I didn't get into it.
You didn't get into it. When did you first have a moment that you realized that, hey, I might be successful. I might be able to accomplish this. Most people, when they're trying to do something they've always pursued, many of them, if they're blessed, they reach a point and they say, you know what, this might work. This might happen. People might actually pay me to do this. Oh my goodness, it's working. When did you first have that kind of moment in this industry?
Well, there's many stages in that. I feel like when you feel like, oh, I might be able to pull this off, I was already working on corporate videos, music videos, and all types of commercial videos. And then I was invited to play in a movie, to act in a movie. But it was a low budget movie. And you always pretty much watch the big budget movies. So you expect that when you're in a movie, it's going to come out great.
You think it's going to be like this thing from Paramount Pictures?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the reality was not that.
It was it came out junky?
It came out bad.
Yeah.
So I wanted to help save the movie. So what happened is that I proposed myself to help fix it with the editing.
Yeah.
Or filming extra stuff to make it better, glue it together better,
So you were an actor, you were brought in to be an actor in a movie, and you yourself tried to fix the whole thing because you didn't think it was good.
Yeah, exactly. It got later on sold to Blockbuster, which was a big deal when it was still open, and Amazon and all, Walmart and all that. So that's when I realized that, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm made for this. And now the way I see movies, it's not just like I watch a movie like anybody. I have to know the way each shot was accomplished. I can't come out of a movie and be like, how did they pull out that shot? I can't. I have to know. So also when I'm home watching Blu-rays, I'm always going to see the behind the scenes. And there's different stages. There's another time when, more recently, when I was directing my own film.
Yeah, the duplicate.
Yeah.
Duplicate. A Michael Bunig film.
I used very limited resources, budget-wise, but I made it look as huge as possible. And for that movie, when I showed it to very successful producers, all around the world, they were really impressed, and they told me this is incredible. So that's another step when you feel like, hey, you know what? I'm actually able to.
Yeah. So if I understand what you're saying is that it's not that at one moment for one time I realize, hey, I might be able to become accomplished in my field. It's sort of like you have a target. You reach a target, you're almost at the target, then you believe. Then when you're at that new level, then you have inspiration to go to the next level. And then when you get close to that one, you say, oh my goodness, that's working. So it's like a continuing self-amazement as to what you're able to accomplish.
Exactly. And somehow you feel like, hey, this is for me.
Yeah.
You're like, why can this guy do it and not me? I have those skills. There's different set of skills that you need for a filmmaker, You're going to need to be very a perfectionist on what you do. Try to do the best you can.
Yeah.
You're gonna aim this high, and if it doesn't get there, even if you get this high, it's still pretty high. And instead of trying to aim here and then you get there, So you get a point. It's commitment. You try not to be lazy. And in this society, these days, it's not like it used to be. People are just on their phone, on their laptop. They get entertained and it's harder to not be lazy these days because you have so much temptation everywhere.
Well, I would tell you that I agree with you that in the contemporary times, people, in my impression, the work ethic is lower for the average person than I felt that I experienced amongst my peers growing up. But it actually doesn't bother me so much because I believe, and I see this with the Jewish Executive Learning Network and all the young professionals I try to mentor, I believe it's almost never been easier to become successful because the competition you have, relatively speaking, is almost less than ever. That's my experience.
I was thinking about that too. It means there's less competition, but at the same time, there's more people than before, and there's more corporate, and there's more bigger stuff that you have to compete with. For example, back, like, you know, when you wanted to open a store 10, 15 years ago, you open your own store, everything's good, you know. Now you have all these huge corporate businesses that make all the little stores close down. So
Yeah.
in a way you win, in another way you lose. It
depends. At the end of the day, no matter what field you're in, you have to, especially today, in my opinion, you have to be great or you just go home. Meaning the marketplace is not interested in average. Well, hey, I just opened a new restaurant. The food is average. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Average, not interested. Hey, I got a new shop to sell you suits for men. You're going to look really average. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to make you a movie. You're going to look average. Your company's going to look average. Everything's going to look average.
You're never gonna say that.
No, what I'm trying to say is that the marketplace rewards exceptional.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me ask you another question, superstar. Okay, I like you, Michael. I like your energy. I'm happy we've connected. Next thing I want to ask you is, why particularly action films? There's comedy. There's all kinds of different genres of films. What is it about action? Is it just, you're a guy, you have testosterone, you think it's neat to see things blow up, you like, Bruce Willis? Is that what it is? Like, what is it about action? Action films that stimulate your juices, that's what you wanted to do?
Yeah, well, there's part of that, like as a guy, we all love our action. Even in the very froom world, you're gonna see like people that like action. I mean, I love comedy, but comedy is a trickier way to make it big because like there's so many nuances in comedy.
What is this?
What is this?
It's a gift from my daughter.
A gift from my daughter.
And different types of humor, like from country to country. For example, I know that because I'm French, so I know that some things that would be very funny in America, they're not funny in French, and vice versa. And thank God I'm bicultural,
Yeah.
So I'm able to laugh from both types of humor.
By the way, if I agree with you, like I've been in Israel sometimes. People have said to me, hey, why don't you like go be a rabbi in Israel or something? And I find that many Israelis don't think I'm very funny. Like I've told stuff that like would make people like laugh or chuckle in America, and I've had Israelis look at me and go, "Allo, you being funny? If you make joke, lo funny, no funny. You are not funny, rabbi." Yeah, I'm with you. Humor does vary.
And also, even with different ages, like you're going to have stuff that 17-year-old are going to find hilarious, and 40, 50-year-old people are going to be like, yeah, that's not funny. So I still try to incorporate as much humor as I can in my action movies.
Jake, don't get yourself killed.
Okay, Chuck Norris.
But I feel like action is more a universal language where everybody can relate to. That's why I focus more on the action.
Okay, that's terrific.
And I try to make it where everything is perfect, like with the story and all that. And like you said, Bruce Willis, one of my inspiration also in the movie world was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Because I can relate to him because he came from Europe, from...
I thought you meant from your muscles and your physique.
No. And he didn't speak a word of English.
That was my first guess, yeah.
He didn't speak a word of English, but he went and he first, it's his work ethic that I learned from when he said, I want to be like Mr. Universe, and then he became Mr. Universe. He said, I want to be a movie star. They're like, what? We can't pronounce your name.
Yeah.
We can't understand you. There's no way. You're too big. You can't be a movie star. And he still went and tried. And then he wanted to be the governor of California.
Unbelievable.
So always set out goals where you're gonna push yourself to get bigger and to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And that's one of my inspirations. And of course, in the Jewish world, there's many more inspiration with Rabbi Akiva.
Yeah, Lahavdil.
Wow,
very nice. Very, very fascinating. Let me ask you this question, because you've been able to climb your ladder. So like almost everyone experiences fear or insecurity or anxiety, or they're afraid of rejection. This is something that when I'm counseling and advising and mentoring and coaching, you could say, young professionals like my Talmidim, they do have a great idea, a great app, a great online business, a great product, a great service they could provide for people. But they say, I don't want to call. They don't want to talk to me. They don't know me. So they're afraid of going after it. They have fear. They try. They do something, feels a little brave and bold, and then they experience rejection, and it hurts them very, very much. And then they're afraid of doing it again, and then they quit and they settle for the leftovers of life, okay? I don't know very much about your industry, but I'm positive that to get to where you've gotten and to get to where you still want to go, you have to experience people saying, Mike who? Michael, who Nick? Who? Huh? What? Never heard of you. You know, even after all you've done. You know, so how do you get through that? What do you tell yourself? And please share that over, because this is something that could really help a lot of people out there in the public.
To me, fear is actually something that's very constructive, and I feel like if you don't have fear, if there's no fear in what you're doing, maybe you're not doing the right thing, you're doing something wrong. And if you don't experience fear, that means you're not normal, you don't realize like what's at stake, you know? So I welcome fear, and then I take a minute to analyze it and then to go through it. So to me, fear is very important because it brings the best in you. You have to obviously overcome it, and then it's the best way to success.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Also, once you overcome that fear, you have to understand that everything is, you know, like we say, Gamzu Etova, we believe that it's going to be for good.
Yeah.
And have emunah, you know?
Emunah, faith. Faith that God is only bringing you to the right things.
Exactly.
Okay, well, since you brought up Hashem, God, you know, the man upstairs, capital M, capital U for man upstairs, let me ask you this question. You know, I was on a JetBlue flight down to South Florida. I was sitting next to a business person, and this person was Jewish, and I said, listen, I'm interviewing on video a movie producer, and this person happens to be Jewish, and I want some ideas. Can you brainstorm with me some ideas on what I can ask? So this person said, oh, if the person is Jewish, I'm very socially conscious. Ask them what they think about guns and violence and their social responsibility, and do you feel you're promoting violence or aggression in society? And as a person who wears a yarmulke and keeps Shabbat and the like, you know, how do you relate to that? Because, and I'm just speaking from my perspective, there's certain times I think things or want to do things, but I'm always sensitive to what is the impact or impression it might make on other people, because first and foremost, we don't want to do any damage or harm while we're trying to affect the good we want to do. So, you know, can you work through that? You know, how do you work through that? I'm sure you're a thinking person. What do you think?
Well, yeah, you have to be conscious. Like our faith, you know, and closeness to God affect everything in our life, not just the work, but everything, I feel. And for movies, there's like different things that obviously are not compatible with the way of the Judaism, but these things can be worked around, you know. For example, action and violence. I think violence is important in movies when it's done right, when it's done to serve the purpose of the story. For example, the antagonist, the villain, so that you root more for the good guy and everything. So you have to have that balance, but to a certain degree, not overdo it. And it's people's responsibility to make sure the kids that watch it are, you know, the proper age. So that's one thing. Also, there's the tzniut part.
That means in Hebrew, that means modesty, dress, how we physically represent ourselves to the world.
Like there could be scenes where the women are not
dressed properly and modestly. Yeah, look, for sure. I mean, I can tell you, I don't watch movies, and A, I don't have time, and B, there's plenty of things there that a nice Jewish boy, whether you're a rabbi or not, it's not supposed to go into your eyes. It's not good for your soul. So a lot of movies do have that as well. I mean, I'm just asking, I'm putting you on spot with a camera going. Yeah, but what about in your films? Are you sensitive that you don't want to put any of that?
So that's exactly my point. When they use like nudity, usually, it is because the story lacks of substance. So instead of having like a strong story and trying to make it better, they're going to compromise. You know, they're going to use nudity and scenes with girls to make it like more marketable or whatever it is.
You're saying to make it more marketable, in other words, to attract attention, to compensate for the fact that the rest of the quality is lacking.
Yeah, so that's why my focus is to make sure that my story, my concept, and the action is top notch.
Right.
That way nobody is going to ever think, hey, wait, I didn't see any girl doing this or girl doing that anymore, because you don't need that. You don't need that when the movie is like strong and everything is good. that's irrelevant to
Right.
the story. I mean, you obviously need like some type of like a love story within the action, but you don't need to be graphic about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my point of view. That's what I like about action movies. And other than that, the other reason why people would say Hollywood is not compatible with Judaism is if you're observant for Shabbat.
Right.
That's why for that it's probably better to be in those types of positions like the producer or the director, where you can make your own schedule.
Sure.
And you have like other people that can work when you're not working on Shabbat. But even like on other positions and even other jobs, I feel like if you're really good at what you're doing and you show your passion and you show that you deserve it, you deserve the job, your boss is going to be able to hire you and work around it, the fact that you don't work on Shabbat. You know?
Well, yeah, but like you said, I'm sure if you're the producer, director, you're in charge, you could say, we're not working on Shabbos. That's a lot easier to do when you're at the top of the
I'm
food.
not working on Shabbat. Some things can still be done when you're not there, you know, as a director. So yeah, there's a way to work around it. So
Yeah.
I feel like here we cover like the basic things that are anti the Judaism.
You're saying the basic things that people fetch, they complain about.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, I hear that. So let me ask you this, Mike. What does success mean to you? I met people over time that the world looks at and says, he's really made it. She's gone very far, and they don't even consider themselves successful. They say, no, I'm here. When I'll be there, that's when I'll be successful. So like, how do you define success? Like, what does that mean to you? And do you even consider yourself to be there? Now, I know a lot of people would look at you, who you know, who you've met, what you've accomplished, your skills, and say, of course the guy's successful, no matter what he answers. But how would you answer those two questions?
Success to me, there's many ways to see it. Like you could be someone that makes $3, $4, $5, $10,000 a month and consider yourself successful because it has to do with happiness, with what you have in life. That's the best form of success, you know, with your wife and everything, if everything is good. And you can have people that make like $200,000 a month or even more, and they don't feel successful because it has to do with happiness, and also it has to do with levels. You always want to be like, you know, one step more successful and everything. And personally, I'm very happy because I'm able to live off of what I love, my passion, through movies and also the corporate videos that I do, the music videos and the commercials, things that I'm passionate about. So to me, that this is success. But of course, there's like levels to it that I'm trying to get way bigger and to another level. So it's all in the mind.
Yeah, it's a perspective.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a young professional? It could be maybe I don't know if a high school student will see this interview, or somebody could be in their 20s or in 30s and they want to break into film and direct and produce. What advice could you give them that they could get started today? Because I can imagine a person might say, that seems great, that seems cool, maybe I'll figure out the video editing a little bit, and where would I even begin? You know, you've spoken to me about privately that that sometimes if you want to make a movie, you could borrow this person's helicopter and this person's mansion, and there's ways to access things. Like, could you talk about this a little bit?
Well, the advice I would give to people that are aspiring to be movie producers and directors is like work, and more work.
6 works.
Yeah, yeah, and not only that, but you have to be perfectionist. You have to aim really high, and if you're gonna have one passion project where you're gonna try to sell yourself to producers or whatever it is, make sure that you put everything into it. So don't be afraid to go and ask this guy like this for like a helicopter. Let me borrow your plane, your boat. Can I shoot in your house?
But where do you find? I'm just asking honestly. Like, if I wanted to get my hands on a helicopter, where do you even find someone? I mean, asking realistically. I'm picturing somebody who's 25. Where do you even start? How do you even know?
The thing to do is to go with levels. First, you try to do something that doesn't require a budget, but try to make it look really nice, really professional. Once you have that, then you could go and show it to people that have like a boat, a helicopter, a tank, or whatever it is, and you show it
all
to
my
them.
all my next door's neighbors in Lakewood, everybody has a tank. It's perfect. You ever need a tank, you come to me, man.
No, I'm just talking about that because that's how it happened when I got an armor truck. That's like you can shoot at it and everything. It costs like $700,000.
Where did you get an armored truck from? Like it's like a
Thank
military
God,
victim.
it's all miracles.
I know
but
Hashem gave it to you, but where do you find
A friend told me, hey, I see an armored truck at the gas station. It looks so cool. I'm like, okay, can you go and ask for the guy's number? Tell him it's for a movie. Then what do? I meet with the guy. The guy is expecting me to pay him a lot.
Yeah.
So I showed him what I've done before, which didn't have none of the big stuff, but it looks very professional. And I was able to convince him to let me use his truck and be part of the project. So basically, you have to really try to ask people and put everything you can into that project to make it look like, it would be like your business card pretty much.
Wow.
Do a demo, do something that sells yourself.
So this, what I'm hearing from this is that if the rabbinic world ever gets too rough for me, and I want to basically hang out a little while in an armored tank or something, I need to come to you.
There you go.
and you'll take care of me.
Yeah, and also an advice I would give is like try to learn to do as much as you can yourself, so you don't have to depend on people for the technical stuff. I'm talking about the editing, the visual effect, the sound effect, the color correction, and all that stuff, all that technical stuff. Try to be able to do everything yourself in case someone is not so good or you can't really depend on him, at least for the beginning when you try to come up. Because later on, if you have success, you're going to have a crew that you're going to be able to know what to expect from them because you've been through it, you've done it yourself.
Absolutely. Wow.
Okay, Mike, this is the next thing I'd like to ask you. My impression from when I used to watch movies when I was a little kid, there was always at the end the credits. There was a very, very long list. I don't know if it looked like hundreds of people to me, at least, that were involved in making the movie. I could imagine that in your field, in your career, in your industry, you find that it takes an army of people, maybe a small army, but an army nonetheless, to create a film. We have an expression, I don't know if there's a French equivalent, but we say in America, sometimes there's too many cooks in the kitchen, okay? And it spoils the food. How do you make sure that everybody's on page with you, rolling in the same direction, and basically acting out, creating the vision you want? Because this is something that I'm sure not just comes up when a person is actually a film director, but even in different things, when you have a staff, a company, and everything else, subtle nuances and differences in the feel, the energy, the actions, the demeanor that different staff members and moving parts bring to the table can largely impact your product. How do you relate to that?
Well, it's like in all types of relationships, even with love relationships, it has to do with trust and communication. So first you have to surround yourself with people that you can trust. And then communication, where you have to make sure that they understand exactly what you expect of them. For example, you're going to go and blow up a police car. You have 6 camera guys. You have to go to them, each one, and explain how I want you to film it, what angle, what kind of camera movement and everything. You have to really communicate and tell them your vision to make sure that they're on par with it. Not only to explain yourself in the best possible way, even for me that has that French accent, sometimes I have to make sure they understand me, but also you have to go and make sure they did understand you, like by making them repeat it. That's if you have the time for that.
Yeah.
Other than that, in this craft, you have to have some type of authority.
Yeah.
But that's very important to make sure that people are going to follow your instructions. And especially for a guy like me that's still young, sometimes I get to direct people that are very chief of police, and you have to have that type of authority.
We're gonna do the same shot that we did before, the same thing. Everybody, tuck your shirt in, everything, quick. We have a few seconds of sun. Okay, let's go, go.
In a nice way,
yeah.
But make sure
you're saying to at least
about what
act
you
that
want.
way.
Yeah, to make sure you get your point across and everything.
Okay, as we're getting ready to wrap up the interview, please let us know, the public know, how can we get a hold of you? Whether they want to follow you, be in touch with you, connect with you, appreciate your work and see your star continue to rise. And in addition, another question is, I know that you and your brother, Eli,
You might think I'm a criminal. I'm not.
have a production company, which is one of the things you've done on your way up, and you still do videos for corporate events, for businesses, for real estate, for different companies. How can people get a hold of you if they're interested in partnering with you?
Well, there's many ways to reach me, with emails, Twitter, Facebook, and my website, bunikproductions.com. So these are the ways to reach me and my brother, Eli Bunik. We do all types of corporate videos.
Right. Michael, I want to thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate your time, your energy, your good heart, sharing your wisdom, making yourself accessible. I know a lot of people are nibbling for your time and attention. Really want to thank you very much for being on the Power Hitters interview series and being here. Usually you watch the short and sweet. Today will be this is the long and sweet. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in to the Power Hitters interview series. My name is Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Bregman of the Jewish Executive Learning Network. If you'd like to send me an email, my email is director@jeln.org. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just find me under the name Rabbi Bregman. Also, you can find me on Facebook, Shlomo Zalman Bregman. If you have suggestions for other people to interview in the Power Hitter series for the next time, just reach out. I'm open to ideas, comments, and suggestions. Okay, we'll see you the next time. Thanks.